Tonight, we are revisiting the deaths, losses and frustrations of the anti-government protests. Last week, a police officer died after sustaining injuries during the demonstrations in Kisumu. The police said Corporal Ben Oduor was killed by protesters who hurled a stone using a catapult. However, this evening, we revisit that scene, adducing fresh evidence to the contrary. Here now is our Crimes and Investigations reporter, Ben Oduor, with what transpired.
From the onset, NTV's investigations team had been notified by junior officers how their colleague, Corporal Ben Oduor, died after missing a step when hopping back into their motor vehicle. Oduor, attached to Keroka police station in Nyamira County, was commanding a team of officers in one of the police vehicles on duty to quell rowdy protesters in Kisumu. Kisumu being among the counties where anti-government protests were being held to compel the state to lower the high cost of living and the opening and auditing of the election results servers. Oduor's body was taken to the Aga Khan Hospital mortuary after he succumbed to injuries sustained in the demos. But it would appear police were not very honest about what, who and how the corporal of police met his death. The police command in Kisumu had told reporters that Corporal Oduor had died after being hit on the chest with a catapult-propelled stone during Thursday's anti-government protests in the city. The first police signal said that Corporal Ben Oduor was overwhelmed by protesters who descended on him with kicks and blows. Nyanza Regional Police Commander at the time, Noah Mwivanda, would later say the corporal was hit by people who used a giant homemade catapult and stones as they engaged the police in running battles near Jamia supermarket. As it would appear, police were speaking after this video emerged and went viral. The footage shows at least 4 men with a giant catapult they locally called a stone launcher setting in motion several heavy stones at police officers who were repulsing crowds using tear gas. Our sources told us that Oduor had been run over by the police vehicle they were using. We understand that Oduor, who was seated in the co-driver's seat, missed his step while retreating after they were overpowered by protesters. It is at this point where he was overrun by the motor vehicle.
Akaanguka, miguu ikaingia right leg, ikaingia chini ya gari ikampita juu. By that time the crowd ilikuwa imefikia Ben. But they couldn't do much. Actually hawakumguza because wakati walikuja maafisa walikuja, the colleagues came and took him. They took him straight to Aga Khan and he was taken straight to Tiasa.
Police did not stop the vehicle to pick their colleague but proceeded to the station to get a refill of tear gas before coming back to the battlefield. Now a post-mortem examination report has fallen short of calling out the police on this inconsistency. The autopsy at the Jaramogi Oginga Odinga Hospital mortuary has found that the late officer was not hit on the chest at all. His hip bone is broken entirely. His legs are crumbled, consistent with a car running him over.
The waist up, Ben is very much intact. Actually, his phone yenye liko kwa mfuko, the screen is shattered completely. That could tell you that vile gari ilimpita juu ilivunja paka simu.
Posing the question of how a single stone would hit a man on his entire hip bone, chest, and completely crack his phone in the trouser pocket. Worse still is that immediate former Kisumu Police Commander Noah Mwivanda told reporters that following the death, 2 men have been arrested and are said to be arraigned for the murder of Corporal Ben Oduor.
It might have not been intentional, but it's only absurd to see and read what we are reading in the news. It's unfortunate. This is a guy who was serving his country in his capacity as a policeman. The best the policeman could do is at least to be sincere.
Over the last 24 hours, 3 strange things have happened. Ben Oduor's family, who had promised to give interviews about his death, disappeared into thin air. A family member whose interview we had recorded has called us about 2 hours ago requesting us not to air the interview. And then Noah Mwivanda, who until 9 hours ago was the Nyanza regional commander, has been recalled to the headquarters in a huff, begging the question, who is working round the clock to cover up the killing of Ben Oduor by his fellow officers? Brian Obuya, NTV.